Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Game. Our PlayStation Network was down, and I'm pretty sure it was an attack. I think that's the consensus. They're being so tight-lipped about it. But this should be a reminder to you that you own nothing. Once these networks go down, once the internet goes down, you own nothing. Back in the day, I used to be in the mindset that you needed to have original hardware, original this, that, and the other. Because I didn't have the foresight to see where companies were going with these games as a service, where these subscription services were going to own all the video games. And what happens when the internet goes down? What happens when these networks get attacked? You find out that you really own nothing. What you own is a license to play on the internet. That's what you own. You own a license, a digital license to play that game however they tell you to. That's really what you own. The power has left your hands. For those of us who are retro gamers, let me give you a broader perspective here. A lot of the video games that we used to love, that we used to play, are fading memories. I own a lot of video games, in the thousands. And let me tell you, they're not going to last forever. I have video games now that are showing game rot. I have video games and consoles now that have stopped working that I need to repair, right? And luckily I own multiple consoles, so it's not really an emergency. But what I began to do is to back up all my systems and to get these emulation drives and machines. And for very little money, you can preserve your collection. You can preserve your memories that you own, that you control. What you're seeing here, I asked my kiddo to record this for me. It is a laptop from 2017, I think, 2016, around there. Don't quote me because I can't remember. With a hard drive. That's all that it is, right? And I have handheld emulators, and I have my Pandora box. But many of the games, for example, for us retro gamers that we grew up with, are fading memories. Nobody wants to play them. Nobody remembers them, right? The people that you grew up playing them, well, we're getting older. We're getting up there, right? So they're fading memories. And who's going to own them in the future? The time to get these things is now. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. And it's natural. It's a natural part of business, guys. These IPs are going to get bought up in order to become part of services. Just like the PlayStation Network, right? Just like Game Pass, just like anything else. But you will not own them. What you will have is a permission to play them online at your convenience. But when those networks go down, when those systems don't work anymore, when they get attacked, when the company goes out of business, what are you going to do? You don't own anything. You've lost control. You've handed control of your fun to another company, really, of your nostalgia, of your memories. That's why I'm thankful that I have my collection, right? It's always at my disposal. But even having the collection is not enough. Because like I told you, things fall apart, they fail, right? They fail because these are plastic items, they're electronics. They're bound to fail at some point. And what do you do then? You should back it up. If they're really meaningful to you, you should back it up, right? If it's something you enjoy playing, that you want to play for the long run, a lot of people grew up on one game. A lot of people just play Tetris. A lot of people just play Sonic. A lot of people just have a nostalgia for a particular game. I've told you before, I have a group of friends that grew up on arcades. They never had a home system, whether it's because their parents didn't let them buy it, or because by the time, the PlayStation came out, these guys were already married. So they never got into that. When the NES, these guys were going out in the service. So they never got to experience that part of video games, but to remember the arcades. And because of that, when they come over, when they see Big Blue, or, when I put on the Pandora box, you'd be surprised how many times we're just flipping through the games, reminding ourselves, this is what they used to have at Tommy's, this is what we used to have at Mario's, this is what they used to have at Luigi's place. And go back through our memories that way. And if all you have is the internet, and for some reason that fails, those memories are gone. They don't belong to you anymore. They never did, right? we were playing a quarter back then. But you don't even get to experience that because we farmed out our experience to a third company that uses the internet. As we all know, anybody can get internet outages. If you follow me through the years, you know that I've had times where I used, for example, my Evercade when the power went out in San Francisco, when I was living up there and all the fires were going on up there. I've used my handhelds when I've been traveling abroad and I've had no power. When I was in China, for example, I was using, emulation. I was using the Evercade. When I was in the Philippines, I was, again using emulation and these drives that I play with, the one that you're seeing here. This is a retrobat, right? And look at all these games that nobody's going to remember. These are fading memories for us. A lot of people don't care about these games, but what these companies are going to do is they're going to come in at some point and they're going to buy all these IPs up, and they will, right? And put them on a service. That's how you get to play them. And you say, well, I don't care, I already have them. Well, if you're, for example, a YouTuber and they own the IP and all of a sudden they say, well, since we own the IP on the internet, the only way you can present them on your channel is if you're playing them through our system. Can you imagine that? They can pull a Nintendo on you. That's what companies do. That's what they're obligated to do. A company's function is to make every single bit of money that they can. It's not their job to leave money on the table, right? If you want to play, whatever arcade game, from the Capcom 1 series, for example, and if you want to play it online, well, you got to pay it through their system because now Capcom has a system that they put on the internet and it has their watermark on it. And if it doesn't have their watermark, you don't get to play it. Not to make money anyway, right? They can put all kinds of restrictions on you. So my advice to you is own your own experiences. Own the things that are important to you. The things that I have backed up, for example, for me, I have until like 5th, 6th generation stuff because my 7th generation collection is quite extensive and I have all the games that I really want to play from then on, right? That's really where my experience stops, and that's really where I focused a lot of my collecting because I think for me that was the best generation. But it could be different for you. You might be older than me and enjoy those old 80 games, 80s, the 7800, the 5600, whatever it is, the NES, right? And you don't want those experiences to be shortened by an internet outage, by a power outage, or by changing licenses, by a company striking you just because you want to share that with your friends. Now is the time. It's gonna come a time when we're not gonna be able to do it anymore. So if you really appreciate your collection, back it up now. If you really appreciate those old games that nobody owns anymore, you better get them now because it's gonna be a lot harder in the future. Because when somebody owns that online and you want to use it, guess what? You're gonna have to pay through the nose, and you're not gonna be in control. Just like these people were not in control this weekend while spending how much are you playing on a PlayStation? $500, $600? And you got to play nothing because you own nothing. All right, humans, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for liking the videos. Back up your stuff, man. Enjoy your games, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.